Hi there folks, welcome to Dunsy's Guitar World, welcome to a sad day. I mean, I don't really do a lot of these RIP videos, but I thought we'd do this today. I did one a couple of years ago for Paul Chapman, a huge influence when I started playing. And today, Gary Rossington, I got an email this morning, one of my friends saying Gary Rossington has died. So, oh man, that's sad. I'm a huge fan of Skynyrd. Gary's playing. I'm sitting here playing a Sunburst Gibson Les Paul, which is, pretty much thanks to Gary Rossington and Jimmy Page. Just jamming some Skynyrd songs, from the first album. It was the first Skynyrd album I got. I'll give you the whole story behind it, but when I heard things like this, I was like, oh, that's brilliant. And lead, I'd never really heard that kind of country bend. Stuff like that. And so I was 14 when I got this album, 1980, and things like Tuesday's Gone. What a fantastic tune. Not sure if my guitar's in tune here, I'm kind of doing this one off the cuff. So anyway, Lynyrd Skynyrd. So Skynyrd didn't really come on my radar till 1980, I was late to the game. This was after the plane crash and everything like that. I did a video, I think 3 years ago, up here, which kind of tells the backstory of how, I'm clearly Scottish, you can tell from my Scottish accent. I grew up in a former mining town, like a small town in central Scotland, and there wasn't a lot to do. And I got into Skynyrd in 1980, the whole story behind it, as I say, is in that video. Basically, I swapped a Rolling Stones album for the first Skynyrd album. Pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd. So I'm 14 when I put this on, I'm a heavy metal fan. Judas Priest, Motorhead, Iron Maiden, Saxon and all that. So you're hearing all these bands around about 1980, and I put this on and I was like, I'd only ever heard Freebirds before, and I put this on and I was like, man, this is so good. Just it's got a rock element, it's got a country element, there's a certain amount of romanticism about this as well. And the guitar tones from Alan and Gary, and even Ed, I think Ed plays lead guitar on Mississippi Kid. Just the tones were fantastic, but Gary's thick Les Paul tone, my ear was just drawn to that, and I thought, man, that's brilliant, like Tuesday's Gone, when he does that, the intro thing, and just thick tones, and he's doing the bending, his vibrato is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So I absolutely love this album. This was 1980, and I thought, I'm never going to see Lynyrd Skynyrd, I live in Scotland, never going to see Skynyrd. So all my way through secondary school, I was in 1980, I'd be in second year of high school, so all the way through high school, I just kept buying Skynyrd albums, I'd save up my dinner money, come into Edinburgh, the only place you could buy records, come into Edinburgh and buy Skynyrd albums. Second Helping, what an album. Ballad of Curtis Lowe, it's just genius, absolutely genius. So many good songs, and then we get, I'll just put them over here, we get Nothing Fancy. Again, just more a kind of country influence in this one, I think, some of the songs. Made in the Shade, For Shorty Medlock, a brilliant album, brilliant album. And then we get Gimme Back My Bullets, we're down to 2 guitar players. It's just Alan and Gary on this one, kind of stripped down. Now, I told the story in my video of how I ended up in North Carolina on honeymoon 23 years ago, simply because of a Lynyrd Skynyrd song, a line in a Skynyrd song. That's how much Skynyrd meant to me. My wife said, where do you want to go on honeymoon? We were getting married in Las Vegas, and she says, what's the one place in America you want to go to? And I thought, I want to go to North Carolina, because there's a line in All I Can Do Is Write About it. I just want to go and see what it's like. So, that's what Skynyrd was a big part of my life. Still are a big part of my life, to be honest. And then we get on to the live album. I got this in John Menzies in Falkirk. I was with my parents, I was still at the age where I would go shopping with my parents. So that would have been about 1981 or something like that. brilliant. Steve Gaines is on board for this one. And then we get Street Survivors. 3 incredible guitar players on this. This is just, and then the plane crash happens. I think this came out after the plane crash, first and last. This is like some unreleased stuff. Down South Dukin. What else on there? Wino, oh brilliant. Wino, Ricky Medlock's playing drums on Wino, and that's kind of stripped down this stuff. It's just Gary and Alan on guitars. And I kept going, you know, I was such a fan. Get into the Rossington Collins band. Gary and Alan formed the Rossington Collins band with Dale Krantz on lead vocal, so I get this and I'm like, oh man, this is brilliant. Not as rocky as Skynyrd in parts, but a brilliant album. And then we get the Tishona 12-inch single and the second album. This Is the Way. I think Gary did a lot of the heavy lifting on this one. I don't know if Alan was quite, you know, for the stories you read, I don't know if Alan was about a whole lot. And I have to say, Barry Harwood on this, you know, he's a good player as well. Then even after Alan had left the band, you know, I still get things like Rossington Return to the Scene of a Crime. This is more kind of AOR, and Love Your Man is definitely kind of AOR. But there's still some great playing. Gary's still playing his 59 Les Paul. And I think this is one of my most valuable albums. A conversation with the Rossington Collins band. This was like a sort of promotional item for radio stations which they would play on the radio. So such a sad day, you know. Gary was only 71 years old. It's no age these days, you know. He was born in Gainesville, Florida. I've never been to Florida, but I fancy it. Now, being in Scotland, I never thought I would get the chance to see Skynyrd when I was growing up. Until 1997, I'll check the date, it was 27th of October 1997. They played in Glasgow at the Royal Concert Hall, I think it was. Royal Concert Hall. And I couldn't believe, I was so excited to go and see them, and it was brilliant, absolutely fantastic show. And I thought, you know, that's it, I've seen Skynyrd. I've achieved the dream. I've seen Gary and Rossington playing with Skynyrd. I didn't know if they would come back or not. I mean, they didn't really play a whole lot. I think they toured the UK once with the Who, maybe 76 or something like that, and they played with the Stones and Nebworth, but I didn't think they would come back again. But then I saw them again, sporting Deep Purple, which was the 25th of June 2003. It was in a big hall, but I managed to get over on Gary's side of the stage, not on the stage obviously, but you know, in front of the stage, and see him playing his 59 Les Paul. So I'd seen Skynyrd twice. I didn't know if I'd ever see them again, but I was happy I'd seen them. And then 2018, they announced a farewell tour. Now, I've never even worn this t-shirt. This is an American farewell tour t-shirt. I saw them in, you know, bearing in mind, I live in Scotland. I live in Edinburgh, Scotland. I saw them in Virginia Beach, in Virginia. We were visiting my friend in North Carolina, who we met when we were on honeymoon, you know, way back when. Again, the whole sort of Skynyrd cyclic story. And we were in Raleigh, I think, the 3 or 4 days after they played Raleigh, because there is a Raleigh tour date. So Fred drove all the way out to Virginia Beach, and we saw Skynyrd on their farewell tour in America. I couldn't believe I've seen Skynyrd in the South. It was Skynyrd, Foghat, 38 Special and Cheap Trick. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. And I thought, you know, that's it. I've seen Skynyrd's farewell tour in the United States. That's probably the last time I'll ever see them. Until 2019, the next again year, the farewell tour continues, and they play in Scotland, play in Glasgow. I took my son along. My son would have been 14 at the time, and I said to him, like, this is your last chance to see one of the greatest bands, greatest rock and roll bands ever, greatest southern rock band, just one of the greatest bands ever. And he's not a huge fan of rock music, you know, he's a bit older now, but he still remembers going to see Skynyrd. So that's my backstory of how I became a Lynyrd Skynyrd fan in 1980. I mean, a long time after a lot of people had saw the original band, but, you know, I was a bit younger, and how I stayed a huge fan, and how this is just a terribly sad day. You know, Gary Rossington has passed away. He's the last original member of the band. You know, time moves on and people pass on, but it's terribly sad. So the thoughts go out to Dale and Gary's family and all his friends and stuff like that, and all the fans out there as well, you know, people who are just fans of the music. It's a sad day, folks. It's a sad day. Thanks for watching. Cheers for now.